Hey guys, welcome to Romans 13. So I got a theoretical concept. I don't know if it's going to work, but I've been envisioning it because it's small, it's portable, it's lightweight. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. So we're going to do a quick draw on Textagram again. I'm always using Textagram. I think it's a great little platform for doing any kind of Photoshop, art, paint, MS Paint kind of vector image. Sorry about all these 3D printed images that I have going on here. Oh, that fight with Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk never happened, did it? Okay, so what I'm going to go for is just very simple design to explain what I got going on here. First thing I'm thinking about is a piezoelectric generator. I'm going to try to make that look halfway decent. So we got our piezo here. I'm going to shrink that down. We'll save that. Maybe something more like this. But yeah, you guys know what a piezoelectric generator looks like. It's on the inside of lighters. So it's going to be very simple. I'll have to draw some wires coming off of it real quick so we can make it look authentic. It's times like these, left is right and forward's backwards. Times like these, I want to fade away. Five Finger Death Punch is very conservative music. They got some weird devil worship crap going on sometimes in there too. I don't know really what's going on with them guys, but yeah. Compared to like Jacoby at Papa Roach, you know. And the first thing I gotta do is draw the electric cap. So something like this. Sorry you guys gotta suffer through my poor art skills to get a theoretical concept in. But anyway, the first thing I want is a piezoelectric generator. Obviously it's going to be some kind of an alcohol gun. Oops. Yeah, whatever. Oh, whatever. That'll work. I'm not too crazy about... I want to clean that side up because I don't like how it looks, but whatever. A couple of wires and we can call it good. The blue wire coming off the side here, and we'll get our little red wire. Just run that off or whatever. Not sure why that's not so vibrant. Okay, so hypothetically, that's our piezoelectric generator. Gotta have that. That one's important. Not even sure if I drew that right, but whatever. The idea is gonna be to have it on a small portable delivery system, and that could be like a big pen tube or whatever. Because I could have just downloaded it instead of drawing it, but it seemed like a reasonable thing to do to draw it. Alright, so this guy's going to act as our tube here. I want to change the color though, just for the contrast. Had to black the image out so I could get into that. Wonder if it's going to let me. Maybe not. Alright, should have a background there. That'll change the color. So we'll have our piezoelectric generator, right? And then we'll have a big pen tube that's been cut down. Okay? No combustion chamber, just one on top of the other. I want it small and portable. You know, it might be a good idea to make this guy just a little thicker, just to line everything up. So try to get both wires in there or whatever, however that's supposed to look. Some people like to attach a wire to that little piece of brass. I don't think it really matters either way. But this is the idea here. You have a very small piezoelectric generator, and then you have basically a zip gun. Okay, and you can load it up with poison darts and all kinds of stuff. I thought about attaching it to a ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞 knife. So then you have like the piezoelectric generator with something else. Now usually with these guys, what you want to have in the back is some kind of a combustion chamber for this to attach to. So this whole thing right here would actually be a combustion chamber that would attach to another piece, or would be slightly larger. An example of that would be, keep on trying to chase down these white backgrounds so I can draw. So it would be like this guy goes into like some kind of a cap system, and then you have this barrel here, and this would be like two caps coming together or something. Anyway, you end up with like a chamber, like some kind of round ball-like chamber, to make pressure to send a projectile forward. And usually what you do is unscrew one half, fill this guy up with your propellant, and then hit the button, kaboom, out the tube. So we're eliminating the chamber. I don't know if this will work. That's why it's a theoretical concept. And just as a single shot weapon, will this work on its own? Just as a simple tube. So just a piezoelectric generator in a tube, ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞 or some kind of a dart, the poisons and all that stuff, we've already covered that with theoretical concepts about 1,000,001 times. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. Remember, with the shoelace, all you got to do is upward cut over and over and over again to break the latching, and that'll fluff out really good. You can use spit wads too if you're going the ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞 route for like a blinder. Completely up to you. The good thing is with this guy, in conjunction with, we'll just save it. In conjunction with a rubber band, you have sort of a hidden weapon, and that's good for us too, for multiple reasons. I brought up ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞 about 1,000,001 times. YouTube has a community section where I can like tell you guys what my next project's going to be. These theoretical concepts let me kind of look into things that are plausible. But anyway, oh, I just went into texture grounds, not the one I wanted to fucking go into. Sorry for my French. Get this guy back here. Gallery. Make it bigger. Nice tan color. So in conjunction with a rubber band, that looks like crap. Conjunction with a rubber band, this guy can go over your finger and you can keep it in the stealth position. See what I'm saying? Now another thing that we did was we took razor blades, because I was messing around with the concept for that based on prison theory. Everybody was attaching razor blades in the prison system and they were going off the side. What I was telling you guys to do was kind of like a bezel. So you're going to fold the razor up so that it's concave. It goes around like a cylinder. And then you can use adhesive or tape for that, and then it becomes a puncture tool. That gives you basically a dagger, obviously, but with the ability to shoot something out. So it's an alcohol gun dagger all in one without the addition of another knife. Hypothetically, so we got the rubber band there so you can pivot the system that allows it to, rotate. That's the worst arrow that I ever drew. That allows it to rotate from, poorly drawn hand here, allows it to rotate from the ice pick system to the orthodox position. Doesn't matter. Or even in the push dagger. Oh no, yeah, you can do the push dagger grip with that. But one thing you can do other than that is attach, gotta find something that's a little darker here. You can attach some cordage here, a couple of loops. One, that looks horrible. Let's do it off to the side. 1, 2. Let's say that that's just leather cordage. And then you end up with a lapel knife. So it's a lapel knife, it's a dagger, it's a hidden weapon with the rubber band system that was made famous by ℜ𝔬𝔫𝔰. So that's basically a hidden blade, one of my favorite hidden blades because it's in the hand at all times. It's attached to you. You can load in ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔰, or you can load in a soft-tailed dart. Just for fun, we're going to draw over to the side. We'll draw the ℜ𝔬𝔪 powder too, but we'll draw the little soft-tailed dart. Say you did this with a shoelace and you dipped it in candle wax like I told you guys to do. I don't know if this will work without a combustion chamber because I've never seen anybody do it before. Usually everybody has a really strict way of going about things. So there that is, and then our ℜ𝔬𝔪 powder. I guess I'll just do a bunch of X's to represent that. And this could be, you know, cloves, bits of glass, bone, fiberglass, peppers, flour, ashes, sand, whatever kind of powder substance you want, and that will be in combination with some kind of a wadding, some kind of like spit wad ball thing that you can shove down into the tube. So you have these 3 combinations for projectiles. The spit wad in itself can also be poison tipped by anything that could be absorbed in the skin, if we were talking hypotheticals. So minus LSA, which is or LSD or any kind of larcic acid, hallucinogenic, or even mushroom substances, for a self-defense scenario, because we're on the ℜ𝔬𝔪 already. I think the best thing for this would be, for the spit wad alone, would be ℜ𝔬𝔰, but you'd have to do that with some kind of rubber gloves. So you'd have the saliva and the ℜ𝔬𝔰. Basically, you're shooting somebody with an itching powder, or with a burning powder if you're using hogweed. But the spit wad in itself, or the paper ball, acts as a muzzle loading device for you to shoot your ℜ𝔬𝔪 out. The downside to that is I've had some kickback with the ℜ𝔬𝔪. The palm dart pistol worked out outstanding with it, but I did have some kickback where the powder wanted to shoot back into the device, and that could be because it was the path of least resistance, simple physics. So instead of it wanting to go the full length of the tube, it took the shortest path and just decided to go and fill up the back chamber, which kind of sucked. Got to make sure that that's loaded in there properly, and I'm still working on a loading mechanism for that. Okay, so let's say you don't want to play around with razors because you don't want to go and cut yourself, then we can use jungle snot for that. Considering that it's a big pen tube, I have a pretty decent recipe for it. Save that. I don't know if this will let me save this as an image file. Oh wow, that's lovely. Okay, done. Internal storage, DCIN. Put it in a stupid folder. That's the best way to find it. War flag design. I don't even see anything in here. Done. Save that in there. Okay, let's go open that up real quick. Wonder if it'll even be in there. You know what? I don't even need to do that. Yeah, we don't even need to do that because I got this blank here. Anyway, if you don't want to mess around with razor blades, then we can mess around with jungle snot. What is jungle snot? Jungle snot is an adhesive recipe that I've used to basically turn any plastic material into a material that you can stab with. It's a civilian adhesive where you can take bits of metal or glass, hypothetically, or even sand, or some powders. Cloves powders seem to work the best, and you can make a really hard substance, resin encasement over plastic that can be used to punch through something. All I need is a white background. What do we got? There we are. So what you can do is cut the tube at like a tanto point down here. You can file it on the ground too. They do this with pens. So hypothetically, this could work with a clicky pen for a disguise. You would substitute the clicky pen for the piezoelectric generator, and then you would have the stabbing point here. But then you would add your jungle snot to the tip of this guy. Obviously, you don't want to get anything inside of the chamber because it's meant to be a projectile too. So the plastic, and a lot of plastics do enter into soft tissue. They might not enter into a water bottle, but they might enter into soft tissue. You know, I came up with this design for my injection knife, but what I did was I stuck a X-Acto blade on the inside so that you're able to use an aerosol can in combination with a big pen tube to make an injection knife. You might be able to do this here with ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞𝔫𝔰, but it's not going to, I don't think it's going to fly out as effectively as it should if it's just powder, because usually you need a ball behind that. So you might not be able to accomplish that, but you might be able to, take like a razor blade and an X-Acto blade, we'll just call it that, and they have these flat ones anyway, so that'll work out for this guy anyway. But you might be able to take a X-Acto blade and put it on the side, and that'll still make it like a dagger. You know, it would probably look more like that. But yeah, any of those little X-Acto blades that you get, I'm sorry that it's not a nice gray color, but you could put that right on the side and that'll still penetrate. But the idea would be to, anyway, take ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞𝔫𝔰, and you can go over this guy if you don't want to mess around with any razor blades or X-Acto blades. And the ℜ𝔬𝔞𝔫𝔰 could work for NPE because there's very few metal parts in the tip of this piezoelectric generator. You might hypothetically be able to get through a metal detector because it is so weak. I mean, if you think about it, your zipper and copper button go through a metal detector and they don't go off. So if you wanted to think about it that way, it's got to have a very high amount of metal count for something to go off like that. But yeah, so the ℜ𝔬𝔞𝔫𝔰 recipe could work for this. You'd just be basically tipping the cylinder on all of the sharp edges, rolling the tube around in the ℜ𝔬𝔞𝔫𝔰 powder to tip that up. And hypothetically, it should still work, because even though we don't have a very large bulb-like combustion chamber, you still have airspace between you and your projectile. And if you think about a shotgun in your head, or a muzzle loader, guys, shotguns and muzzle loaders are just straight tubes. They don't have a large chamber for combustion like we do for an alcohol gun. They just have their spark, their powder or accelerant, and their projectile. So that's something to consider. So hypothetically, this could still work even without having a large round chamber on it. Great stealth weapon. It is a single shot, but if it runs out of ammo, it doesn't run out of ammo because it serves also as an impact device like a ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞 or a dagger, able to get into soft tissue and disable the bad guy. Now we can get into some fun stuff because we have this design. Let's say we take this and we mix it with something, because plastic is so bendable, and we can start getting round shapes. Get around, I get around. You can see over here the air horn design. That's, yeah, FBI labels MAGA as extremists. You guys didn't know, you've already been labeled. You're probably on a list somewhere. They can label whatever the hell they want, and they can cause the Civil War and get their Jonesins on. FBI's just slowing us down, okay? I'm not worried about all the woke, stupid stuff going on in the government. Russia's pointing nukes at our throats. Yes, they're domestic. Yes, that's what the Constitution calls for, but there's a bigger threat. So if we got to deal with the FBI, we got to deal with the FBI. I'm going to tell you guys straight up. I shouldn't announce my plans on the internet, but I'm going to tell you straight up. If I go to prison for being a Republican and only having Republican conservative views and being into weapons or whatever, I plan to escape from prison to fight the Russians. Period. I'm going to escape and fight the Russian and the Chinese, which are going to be invading America, because these stupid goofballs, even though they're going to arrest us, they can't fight off Russia and China. They don't have the resources. They already said it. You're putting your most effective militant force, which is the American patriot, behind bars. So yeah, the only thing we can do is escape. And that's the plan. Escape from prison, fight the Russians and the Chinese. So hopefully you guys got an E&E plan. That's mine, because that's how we're going to defend and fight for our freedom. The Russians and the Chinese will come over here. They'll see the FBI and the woke people. They'll kill them all off. They don't have a snowball's chance in hell. I'm not crazy about them. I know you guys aren't crazy about them. I'm not making any excuses for them, but that's just the way that it is. Now, let's say hypothetically we take this chamber, and I was working on this the other day. It's some kind of a viper fang, and this guy curves a little bit. I don't know if I'll be successful in escaping from prison or anything. I just told you guys that's my plan. Is go into, if I have to go into custody, go into custody. Probably not going to resist, but if the Russians and the Chinese come over here, we have to deal with that threat because they're going to take over America and they have to be dealt with. What I'm thinking about is you can use like any kind of a heat source and you can bend this guy, and then you can end up with like a curved tube, and that makes it possible to punch through the collarbone area. That's called the clavicle artery or something. So you can take these small tubes and you can still bend them into shapes to use them as defensive tools, as an improvised weapon. Now, I was told by another friend that this is too steampunky to get into, but the theoretical concept behind it is really brilliant. So, Tonto point with ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞𝔫, even the razor blade because it's round, and then you can also curve the tube because plastic is easy, lightweight, and bendable. Loading it wouldn't be that hard. You'd need a flexible wire if you were going to go the route of bending the tube to copy a type of Viper Fang. That's OSS style, CIA OSS style tool meant to get into the trapezoid muscle and shut the bad guy down all the way. Guys, I know that you're up in arms about everything going on, the elections, the internet, the censorship, all the stuff. You need to hang in there. Hopefully this is all just, smoke and mirrors. We're able to get our country back on track, but we need to look at the bigger picture. I really welcome you guys to look into Yuri Bezmenov on Russian subversion. Everybody wants to point the finger at the woke and the left and the mob and global elites and stuff, but it was actually noted as a strategy for war that Russia would subvert our colleges, make them woke and liberal and retarded, make us feel sympathetic towards Russia as a champion for Christendom, even though they're not, and that they would invade that way or cause a civil war. So that's what the Russians are hoping for. That's what the Chinese are hoping for, because once that happens and civil war happens, they get to influence policy. So all of our civil rights, especially our Second Amendment, Putin hates that. They get to come over here and strip us of our rights. And those rights are put in place, obviously, to collectively band together and defend against a tyrannical government. That's what it's for. I mean, that's the purpose of the militia. I guess the point that I'm trying to sell to you guys is, have you ever played a video game before where you're fighting, you have one boss guy come out, it's like this big stupid guy, and then you have all these little guys, and they're just annoying, and you're trying to pick them off? That's the FBI, the ATF, all the woke, stupid branches that are giving you hell all the time. That's the Biden administration. They're these little annoying guys you can deal with right away. The big, bad, stupid boss, the idiot, I always go for that guy first. I don't give a crap about the little guy, because you take him out, you take the little guys out with him. That's Russia and China. That's the Russian and Chinese threat. That's where your mind has to be. You have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for them to come over here, rape, pillage, plunder. They don't care if you're left or if you're right. They're going to rape your women, kill your children, burn your houses down. They're going to take your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones. And when you hear that leftist screaming in the bamboo cage next to you because his fingers are being split in half by some Chinese finger trap torture thing, that's when your American pride's going to kick in, and you're going to want to bust somebody in their mouth, whether they lean one way or the other. So I'm telling you guys, the bigger threat, the big bad boss, is the Russians and the Chinese. And the fact that you guys would be sympathetic towards the Russians and not the Chinese kind of shows where your mind's at right now. It's sort of a plant. You guys got to remember, China and Russia are allies. You can't hate China and be pro-Russia. That don't make any sense. You got to see it as it is on the global scale. It's kind of weird because Biden's kind of doing that too. He loves the Chinese and hates the Russians. We need to love Americans. So love Americans. The woke needs to go, though. Yuri Bezmenov shared that in his lecture. It needs to get the hell out of here. Anyway, I guess this is our little version of special forces making equipment out of nothing. I love doing stuff like this. The reason for it is because, number one, I have a talent for it. I enjoy doing it. I'm not the best. Like, there's people out there that are way better at this stuff than I am. But it gives me the confidence that I have the know-how to defend and protect life with bits of trash and garbage and silly things, for the prevention of whatever kind of evil somebody desires to do in their heart, whether that be rape, murder, pedophilia, Mararuder, crazy stuff, torture. If you can make something to defend, like make a tool to defend and protect life, that's all that matters. But you also, it's not just the know how to do it. You have to have the courage to use and implement those tools too when things are going down. And if some bad guy has to catch a pitchfork tying for going full on bad guy, then I have to go on full on good guy. So when it's time to Hulk, it's time to Hulk. And I hope you guys do that in protection and defense of your fellow Americans, and that our branches come to their senses. They might not, I don't know. But I do love America, and I do love Americans, so, and that's all of us. We need to pay attention to the bigger threats that surround us, and this ain't no bleeding heart, sissy liberal stuff. Someone's obviously always out there to go and twist stuff and say that you intend to do or intend to be something that you're not or that you don't. But the point that I'm trying to sell here is we have worse enemies out there, and they need to be dealt with because they are extremely hostile threats. And if I had the health and mental fortitude, I think I would actually be in the military on the front lines in Ukraine, probably dealing with the Russians, because that's their Achilles heel right now. The giant has left a gaping wound into its heart, and we would be stubborn not to go after it. I know we don't have the resources, we don't have the weapons, we don't have the tools. I mean, I'm sharing improvised weapons all the time, so maybe the government can get some of this knowledge over to Ukraine. I don't know. No, I'm not pro endless war. No, I'm not into the woke bull crap. I feel really bad that the most prominent group to defeat the Russians is so anti-gun and tyrannical. Had the leftists been on our side, and had they known how serious it is and how damaged our country is morally, and the demoralization not only with the population with abortion and homosexuality to destroy Americans, to dwindle our numbers, to defeat our moral fortitude, which made us the shining beacon of light around the world to defend and protect life. I wish the leftists would see how serious that is and how broken that makes us. They're always against Nazism. I wish that they knew how they're almost projecting what they hate the most. See yourself become the villain, Batman. Anyway, it's really sad to think about it, but I love America, I love Americans, I love the idea of defending and protecting life. I know you guys all do too. Anyway, I hope you guys like this one. This is one that I'm looking into. I don't know if it'll work. If I have any friends out there that have the piezoelectric generators to play around with, I welcome you to do it. I don't right now. When I do have the tools, I might try to smack this out. And I think I'm going to go full on Romans 13, and I'm going to bring this theoretical concept all the way to its fruition, because I do want to see if I can get that really nice bend in it, like I think I can, for the because usually when I'm doing a design, I'm sticking on a topic that I've already covered. For the Fang copy, that's the Viper Fang or the Voodoo Dagger, or it's the OSS style pick that's kind of curved. I do want to go all the way to that tool with this design. So you have a mace gun, even though it's a little curved, it should still shoot out some kind of projectile powder. I know that people can poison tip that stuff too. Pretty crazy. But then you also have the ability to get into the subclavicle, get into that artery up there, and that's what those tools were designed to do. So, yeah. But the lapel design with the curvature won't probably be ridiculous. I don't know. But I did see an EDC cloth that was curved like that, though. So, I don't know. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Remember, you are the last resistance to the captive state. Thanks and bye. I'm going to save this picture, and I'm going to get out of here. If you want to support the channel, subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. If you guys see any interesting weapons on here, check them out. I'm not 12. I'm 29. I'm getting sick of people telling me I'm 12. I'm not 12. I might have a voice that makes me sound like I'm 12. If your 12-year-olds have deep voices like this, it's probably because they're getting too many hormones. Usually 12-year-olds have high-pitched, squeaky, girly voices that crack in and out. So I don't know. I'm definitely not no Elijah Schaefer. Anyway, guys, have a good one. Thanks. Bye.